And welcome to episode number 120 of the Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 120 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, shockingly enough, from May 14th, 1994, tape May 2nd, 1994, at the Roane State Community College in Harriman, Tennessee. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the fuck you Shorzy to my fuck you Riley and Jonesy. It's Trae. Trae, how are we today?
Fuck your entire fucking life, you fucking piece of shit.
Fuck you, Riley and Jonesy. You're so fucking pathetic. I get a provincial tax credit just for hanging out with you.
Wheel Snipe Selly.
Yes. So, my book, 40 Years of Pay-Per-View, Book 2, 1991 through 1993, is still scheduled to be released 2 weeks from yesterday, October 1st, in finer Amazon retailers worldwide. Um, I got a note from my editor today. He was going through SummerSlam 1993, and he was going through the Heavenly Body Steiner Brothers match. And I just see on my phone with a Google update, I know his character was a gigolo, but you can't convince me Jimmy LeRae had a move called the Poonsault. I'm like, I just had to email him before the show started. I'm like, okay, technically not called the Poonsault, then okay, fine, I'll rewrite that a little bit. But yeah, that is the tongue-in-cheek name of that move.
Look, I would keep it in there because look, that's how terms get created. Scholars or philosophers or academics invent them and then just insist that they're true.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Um, all right. So after I fucked up the intro this week's episode, um, I forgot to say it the way we usually say it, but this is of course another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along project. We're in a new home, and we're going to be here for the next 5 weeks, pretty much.
Yes. I
Now,
think
did you?
I think one of those shows is going to be stuff from Volunteer Slam.
Yes. The show in 2 weeks is going to be a recap show, and I'm
Yeah,
positive it's Volunteer Slam stuff.
yeah, the
Now, did you look
28th.
up this town at all?
Um, Not really. I looked up
Okay.
I looked up Rome State Community College. I didn't really look up Harriman.
Uh, Harriman, population 6,216. So this is not one of those cases where the people at the show outnumber the people in the town.
That's about the size of the town I grew up in.
That's nice. The town I grew up in was a little less than 2,000 people.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I went to London when I was like the first time I had ever really been anywhere outside of like the South. And I was talking to a cab driver and I just was just like, yeah, I'm from a town of about 7,000 people. And he goes, there were 7,000 people in the block of flats we just drove by. So puts it in
That's a big city
perspective.
for you. Yeah. All right. So nothing against Les Thatcher, and I mean we'll get to the intro here in a second, but I hate writing Bob and Les instead of Bob and Dutch. It's like we had Bob and Dutch for like 115 episodes. They were an institution in our lives, and now I got to
I'm
get over
sorry.
it.
You'll get used
Um,
to it. You'll be okay.
we will, and by the time we get used to it, Bob will be gone, but at least he'll be replaced by JR.
Yeah, that's that is an upgrade with all
Yes,
love to Bob Caudle.
And then we go from JR to Chip Kessler. Poor,
Uh,
poor Chip. I'm like dissing him so much, and when we get to him in 1 year's time, you're like, he's not that bad, Arya. Shut up. But it okay, this is going to be a really bad comparison, but in many ways, it's like going from Jim Ross to Jonathan Coachman.
oh, I don't think Kessler's going to be as bad as Coach, but I
Uh,
don't know. I have extra spin.
we will see. At least Kessler is going to have the benefit of post production,
He's
and not
enthusiastic
that's
at least.
yes. Um, and Jim wouldn't be stupid enough if he had the ability to have Jim Ross sit out several major pay-per-views so we could put Jonathan Coachman in there.
Yeah,
But hey, Coach had a kick-ass first theme song.
I don't even remember.
Um, well, you should look it up after the show.
Okay.
Anywho, let's go to the intro of the show with Bob and Les.
Welcome to another exciting action-packed hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, wrestling fans. Bob Caudle along with my partner, Les Thatcher. And Les, we got a hot one this week.
We certainly do. Of course, new tag team champions. We have a lot more coming up on them in the hour. And we've got a great main event. It's Well Dunn against R&R, the Rock and Roll Express.
That's right. And, of course, you got a great personality profile this week for us.
That's right. Speaking of the new Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions, it's Brian Lee, Chris Candido, and their lady, Miss Tammy Fitch, will be on Personality Profile with me today.
As we say, fans, a lot's going to be going on during this hour. You want to be sure to stay right with us. And I tell you, Les, we got to draw for our Beat the Champ match.
That's right. We got to find an opponent for Bruiser Bedlam, and this guy has been red hot as the champ. Let's see what we can get here. All right, we've got one, and it will be Anthony Michaels taking on Bruiser Bedlam on Beat the Champ today.
All right, fans, as we say, a great 60 minutes. Stay right with us, and we're about ready for the action. Let's go to the ring.
Les is just losing so many friendships over this Beat the Champ.
Oh,
Uh,
well, at least Bruiser's got to be about done, right?
oh yeah, they
This
say
had to have
this
been
is his
four.
fourth defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it's already been four, but I guess, it has been.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Anthony Michaels does not defeat Bruiser Bedlam. But there'll be more to talk about during that match.
Yeah. There will be.
Poor Anthony Michaels.
Oh, poor son of a
Um,
bitch.
yep. So we're gonna have a hot one this week. The Rock and Roll Express versus your favorite team, Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They're the team of Well Done. Is your main
You know,
event.
you know what? Messrs. Well and Dunn were very upset that they weren't getting the recognition that they deserved. And I just think it's terrific that that Commissioner Bullet Bob Armstrong has booked them in two main events in a row. Maybe they'll get theme
Yeah,
music soon.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I don't even think they get theme music in the WWF. I don't remember them ever like I don't remember them ever walking to the aisle. I just remember them already being in the ring when we come back from a commercial.
Damn.
Um, yeah. So we go to our opener. It is the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion, Dirty White Boy, versus James Adkins. White Boy is still wearing an eye patch, and poor James Adkins didn't even get an introduction. They
It was
announced,
over 30 seconds into the match before Les finally named poor James Atkins.
and that was after I'd already looked it up on ProWrestlingHistory.com, and thus spoiling the fact that Dirty White Boy won this match.
Well, I'm glad I waited, and I was surprised when Dirty White Boy hit the Buckshort Blaster and won in a minute 59 seconds.
Yes. Now they announced, and I guess I should have put two and two together when I wrote down the date and everything. This Friday is the Volunteer Slam. Does that seem way too fast? Like it seemed too soon. I had to double check to make sure I was watching the right episode.
Uh, no, not really. It was where I expected it to be.
Okay. I I don't know. It feels like they haven't been promoting this. I guess they have, but I mean
They've been playing fucking videos every week and promoting it for like, I don't
I
know, a month or so now, at
I
least.
guess, but it's like when I think about like Sunday Bloody Sunday, it felt like it took fucking forever to get to that show. And then they had already announced the Rock and Roll Express Heavenly Bodies cage match. I think not before Sunday Bloody Sunday, but before whatever the in between show was. Um, and so like it felt like we're getting these long builds to a show. And yeah, I guess this one did get built over for over a month, but just I don't know. Maybe it's because like until this week, neither of the two big stars on the show were on the show. So it was just like I mean they were on pre-taped interviews, but you know what I mean. They weren't in the arena, making appearances. So it's like I don't know. It felt like we still had more to do before we got to the shows.
It was like back in the day when it was one of those months that there were only 3 weeks between pay-per-views instead of 4.
Yeah. Or fuck when they were doing 2 weeks between pay-per-views.
Yeah, that was rough. By the way, I skipped way to the finish. We did not even mention the interesting thing about this match.
Jake Roberts made his Smoky Mountain debut, coming to the ring and, to quote Bob Caudle, having a bottle of drink.
I wrote, while Jake Roberts appears at ringside sipping what I hope is lemon lime Gatorade.
I think it was Gatorade. I'm afraid to ask what could have possibly been in that bottle if it wasn't yellow Gatorade. White Boy went with the Buck Snort Blaster, and then Jake showed good sportsmanship by clapping for our heavyweight champion. What a great guy that Jake the Snake Roberts is.
Indeed, this is wonderful for the Smoky Mountain area. A big national star like Jake Roberts coming in and showing his respect to the Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion.
Yep. And then, Jake, he's like, you know what, I'm here. Let's go over to say hi to the legendary announcer Bob Caudle, and the commissioner's coming up, the legendary Bullet Bob Armstrong. I'm gonna stick around and say hi, maybe talk to Bob if I get the chance, both Bobs. Hey, look, my good friend Tony Anthony's coming over. We were in Mid-South together, Let's go to Jake, who's with all these people at the announce desk.
All right, fan, wait a minute. Oh, no, right here with us. Wait a minute.
What you're doing out
we're
here.
going to talk
You don't
Jake
show
the
up
Snake.
for no reason.
Whoa.
I want to know what you're doing out
Fans,
here.
we got the white boy, we got the commissioner, we got Jake. We got a lot of confusion. Let's see if we can straighten this out, and we'll come right
It's
back.
plain and simple. Can you answer me? What are you doing here?
Tony, that really hurts. I mean, it's great to be here in the Smoky Mountain because I can see from right there in that ring. It's beautiful being here because they're giving people that are handicapped the opportunity to do something. Hey, I tell you what, you look fair out there, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, soft 4, if you know what I mean. Real soft. But, oh no, come on. See, now, he's wanting me to hit him, then he's gonna get a lawyer for slapping a blind man.
Oh, my heavens, Jake.
Won't you slap on this
Commissioner,
blind man all
what?
you want to, tough guy?
Wait. You look good out there as a champ, Tony. You don't mind if I put my arm up there?
No, that's fine.
And it's okay if you don't, because I'm still going to do it.
Yeah, I figured that, Jake.
You can be champion this week. It's okay. You can be champion this week. You can be champion next week. You can be champion for 3 weeks if you want, because I would never reach out and hit somebody that's physically handicapped or mentally handicapped. And if you think you can beat me, you are definitely mentally handicapped, you geek.
No problem.
And let me tell you
hell
something.
are you calling
Let me
a
tell
geek?
you something. If you're smart, you'll thank me for not doing it right now. But if you're as dumb as I think you are, and as dumb as these people are, then you can be champion for another year because you'll just pat me on the back and say, Mr. Roberts, you're exactly right. I know you're a much better man than I am. Because I don't want to have to beat you up. I want you 100%, no excuses. And you know something? You'll never be 100%. You never have been 100%, and you never will be.
If you want a match, you don't have to wait on this handicap. You say I'm one-handed, all you gotta do is slither your old raunchy butt to the ring, and I'll give you a title shot today. No, I don't care.
I feel really bad about that. I swear to all of you out there, I feel really bad about that. But not as bad as you'll feel.
I'm sure you book it today, right here on TV, tough guy. I'll put this on the line against you. I don't care. Jump on this handicap.
sure, Tony?
I'm positive, Bob. You just signed the match, all right? Can I do it? Can you do that?
I can do it.
All
Are
right,
you sure?
you signed it. I want it here today. I ain't letting no loudmouth punk like that come in here. I've worked too long and hard for this title, and I'll be damned if I'm letting scum like that downgrade me and downgrade all these people. He's gonna have to. Oh God, can you do it?
Do it.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you very
All
much.
right, Commissioner, what about that? Let me just say this. He is the champion. He can do what he likes for the belt. We'll have the match here today for the belt. All right, fans, you heard that.
All right. Trae, I think that was a fucking amazing segment right there.
That was a tremendous segment. I have a question. Does Jake think that slapping a person is only suable if they're blind?
I don't know. I feel like you have more of a chance of a lawyer taking your case if you're blind. Like if it's like if I just walked up and slapped you, A, I'd expect you to slap me back. But B, it's like I imagine most lawyers wouldn't waste their time unless I injured you. Whereas if you're blind, then it's a hate crime.
I don't think you could injure me with a slap.
I know that's why.
That's not a hate crime. Like, unless you're slapping them because they're blind.
Maybe I am. You never know. But I think, get a good scummy lawyer, even if it gets thrown out, they could take you to court over that more than, you be just being a regular visioned person.
I am not encouraging people to slap blind people, but just for the record, some blind people are assholes.
Do you want me to edit that off the show? Maybe we should write down the date and time you said that in case it's got to be edited off on a future day.
Ain't nobody from my chapter gonna listen to this.
I just meant hell. Whatever. We'll move on. So I thought it was funny. Jake basically implied White Boy had a small penis that he can't get it up, and that didn't really bother White Boy. But it was when Jake called him a geek. Then White Boy's like, "You motherfucker, who are you calling a geek?"
Yeah, that's people used to get really offended by that. The only
then
thing worse in the 90s was calling someone a nerd.
and then I met MVP, and well, I made it cool. Oh Lord.
I had a way cooler experience meeting MVP than you did.
Actually, I did meet MVP before that. Now that I think about it, it was at one of the WrestleCons after he had left TNA. So it's probably the California one in 2015. I don't know what made me ask him this, but I asked him about because when he was in TNA, he had bought half the company or some shit, and so I asked, whatever happened to your shares in TNA, and he laughed. So.
Okay, so I don't even
Think
know if you know the full story, but were you aware that MVP did a TEDx talk like 6 years ago?
I don't think so.
Okay, so he did, and I also did a TEDx talk at that same conference, and we hung out the night before.
Nice.
I'm not going to mention any of the activities we lived that might be illegal in some of the states involved, but we did hang out.
What was your TED talk about?
Civil War memory. If anybody would like to read it, you can or watch it rather. You can go on YouTube, but it's called A Southern Historian's Lost Cause.
Nice. What was MVP's?
I forget the title, but it was about opportunities and discrimination against people with criminal records.
Do you remember the preposterous story that came out once? Remember when MVP, they were doing this story in WWE where he was losing every week and it was going to eventually lead to his babyface turn somehow?
Yeah.
There was a story that got started that the reason why he was getting buried on TV every week was because he attacked Triple H with a screwdriver.
Oh, I wish
And
I'd known that. I wish I'd known that when I hung out with him.
yes. And until like I don't think it lasted like very long, that story, but it's like I think someone eventually like people eventually put two and two together. It's like if you attack Triple H or any human being with a screwdriver, your punishment is not going to be to lose wrestling matches.
He did confirm to
Uh,
me that he is the one that coined the term pot tax for you remember when like everything in like fucking synthetic weed was a suspension, but then actual pot was just a $2,000 fine.
yeah, I think Randy Orton and Evan Bourne were proponents of the pot tax.
Evan Bourne's stupid ass was the one that kept like he got suspended twice because of the synthetic shit when like
Hmm.
actual pot would have just been a fine.
Yep. I don't know. Is the synthetic shit cheaper? I don't know.
I don't know. It was you could buy it like in stores for a while. That was a look. I shouldn't say that. Don't do synthetic weed, kids.
All right. Things you never thought we would talk about on the show. Um,
You're gonna write in the
so
description. Trae gives drug advice.
Trae gives drug advice. Um, now what did you think about this promo? I loved it. I thought it was an A plus promo.
Oh yeah, this was great. Jake is like when Jake Roberts talks, you pay attention. You can't not.
Hmm. Indeed. And they booked the title match for today, White Boy versus Jake the Snake. And I think this is why I also thought that I was watching, or that I was shocked that Sponsor Slam's happening as soon as it was, because like I knew this happened, but I thought it happened at least a week or two beforehand. This is happening 5 days before the show or 6 days before the show.
I did not know
Like,
this happened. I knew I assumed that the title change was at the Volunteer Slam. I did not realize it was on TV until I was looking up something the other day and spoiled it for
mhm.
myself.
And then he looked up something else and realized that was a podcast. Um,
I was already on the
w-
podcast then.
yeah. I, I need to stop putting initials down because I wrote replay of TS versus WD, and I'm like, who did Tracy Smothers wrestle? That was initial WD. And so when that,
Western Digital.
yeah,
Tracy
when,
Smothers
when
having trouble with an external hard drive.
so yeah, when we started talking about that promo, I like skipped ahead on the video a little bit, like, oh, it's a Thrill Seekers versus Well Done. Um,
Yeah.
Then we go to, and this is probably also why I thought it was Tracy, because the next match is Bruiser Bedlam with Jim Cornette versus Anthony Michaels. Bedlam did not get an intro, but that's more because he rampaged to the ring and beat the Anthony out of snot. Tracy Smothers joined the announce desk, and I was like, I was hoping I'd pop you on that one. Tracy joined the announce desk and said that Bedlam made a daggum mistake putting his hands on Bullet Bob Armstrong, and then Bedlam won with the stomach claw. Now, ever since Bedlam has started here in the promotion, he'll win with the stomach claw and then not let go. Ever since he started with the promotion, Tracy Smothers has been the top babyface and stands up for what's good, and he helps out the little fella who might be down and out in his luck. Tracy Smothers sat at the announce desk the entire time and did not lift a finger to help Anthony Michaels.
Yeah,
And
fuck Anthony Michaels, I guess. It's like Tracy just sits there on commentary and just talking out like essentially saying, well, that's not nice. And I guess he just fucking hates Anthony Michaels.
or in reality, he's really smart because he knows Bruiser Bedlam would beat his ass. And Tracy's got a big match coming up Friday with Kendo the Samurai to get ready for.
Tracy is a proud Southerner who carries the Confederate flag with pride. He loves fights he can't win.
The problem is he thought he won that one. Do you think like uh they'll show footage of Bruiser Bedlam beating him down, and he'll come out on TV talk about how he won that match and spend like the rest of his life bragging about how he really beat Bruiser Bedlam?
Tracy Smothers will rise again.
Oh Lord, I love having a Civil War historian on the show, so we can make bad jokes about this.
Yeah, love bad
Um,
jokes about.
so from here, they re-aired the same Randy Savage promo from last week. They did not get Macho Man to come into the TV taping or even cut a second promo. So, I mean, it was certainly a promo. We talked about it last week. It was a fun promo last week. It was slightly less fun this week because we'd seen it already, but it was still Macho Man Randy Savage on Smoky Mountain Wrestling television.
I'm glad you confirmed that this was the same promo from last week because I thought it was, but I wasn't completely sure.
Now, I forget if I messaged you about this because I was thinking about this and I thought I wrote it down, but it's not in my notes anywhere. So Randy Savage leaves the WWF at the end of the year, partially because Vince forcibly retired him, more or less. He was not wrestling very much, if at all. Even though, especially when you watch some of these WWF undercard matches, you're like, you really think we couldn't have squeezed Randy Savage in here somewhere to spice things up a little bit? Do you think that, like, let's say Cornette and Vince could have come to an agreement where Savage would come in as a full-time Smoky Mountain guy paid by Vince, or maybe not full-time, but doing the TVs and the big shows? Do you think that would have been enough to whet Savage's appetite to stick around, or would he still have left, do you think?
He still would have left when he found out how much money that Bischoff was offering.
I don't know. Like I guess I never really thought about it, but I kind of got the feeling like he never really wanted to go to WCW until his hand was forced. Like he wanted to wrestle and Vince didn't want him to. And I'd imagine, like, and I don't think Vince would have offered the same money, but let's say Vince had offered the exact same money to the dollar. And for Vince, it was to do commentary and once every 6 months get in the ring versus Bischoff, who was like, yeah, we'll use you full time or whatever full time in WCW meant at that time. I think he would have gone with Bischoff.
I don't think that there's any scenario where Vince would have offered him that much money to do that little.
Maybe not in '94, because yeah, this is around the time when like they're like, because he's about to go through the federal lawsuit, or not, he's going through the federal lawsuit, he's going through it right now. And then business is down, and then business really crashes next year. I think if it was '96 when he started offering the guaranteed contracts, I
Yeah,
think he may have.
had to.
Yeah. Um, so from here, we go to Jim Cornette and Bruiser Bedlam, who have something to say about their match this Friday night against the Macho Man.
Well, we just heard from a man, and it's going to take place this Friday. But I tell you, it's not going to be that easy against Randy Savage. No way.
No, I agree with you. It's not going to be easy at all. But you see, Bruiser Bedlam likes challenges because every time there was a strike that he had to break, every time there was something going on in the picket lines that he needed to take care of, every time there was somebody acting up down on the docks, who did the bosses call in? They called in Bruiser Bedlam. And all these peanut heads out here, they can sit and boo and wish and hope and dream that they were the man that this man is, but they know they'll never be. And Randy Savage, you fit in that category. Bullet Bob Armstrong's hired gun, just like in the old West coming into town. Well, Bob Armstrong, why don't you do your own fighting? Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot. Because he's banned from wrestling as long as he's the commissioner. And I see you, Bob Armstrong, you got that wistful look in your eyes. You got that tear running down your face. You look like that old Indian in the litter commercials. Well, let me tell you something. Not only should you keep America beautiful, Bob Armstrong, but a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Ask any of your sons. All you got to do is resign as commissioner, and you can get back in the ring. But until then, this Friday, at the Volunteer Slam, Randy Macho Man Savage, big-time superstar, coming to Knoxville. Yeah, all the people cheer for him. But all the people are going to have to be there to pick him up and carry him out after the Volunteer Slam. Because, Bruiser, what are you going to do to him, baby?
I get paid to beat you, Savage. I beat you stab bomb.
You see, that's what I like about Bruiser. He's so laid back, he's so calm, and he's always got a good, even disposition. He's always hysterical. And Randy Savage, you come out on TV and go, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Well, after this Friday night in Knoxville at the Volunteer Slam, you're going to be going, oh no, oh no, oh no. Because Bruiser Bedlam's going to get your number, punk. And you and Bob Armstrong are going to be carted out of that Knoxville Civic Coliseum. And maybe then Armstrong will smarten up and he'll resign. And then I'm sure I could find somebody that would take over the commissionership that would see things my way.
No doubt, no doubt. Probably thinking of himself, fans.
All right, so Bruiser Bedlam is confident that he will beat the Macho Man Randy Savage this Friday at the Volunteer Slam.
Indeed. He's a big fella. I think he can do it.
Yep. I like this whole gimmick with Bruiser Bedlam where it's like he's not a wrestler. He's that guy that is working, at the factory, that whenever there's shit going on the line, this is the guy you call to settle it. And like he's that guy where like if you saw him walking towards you, like you have to be deaf, dumb, drunk, or stupid to like not calm the fuck down. Just be like, okay, I'm going back to work now, Bruiser.
Yeah, agreed.
So, by the way, they did know, and we mentioned this earlier. Him winning Beat the Champ was his 4th title defense, and we'll see next week if he has a real opponent for the 5th and final defense. Who was it that had the 5th title defense was against a nobody?
Was it Brian Lee?
That's who just popped into my head, but I guess that would make sense. So during that promo, I went to my tab that I opened up about Harriman when we were talking at the beginning of the show, and there was a thing on TripAdvisor, the 15 best things to do in Harriman. And I had to click on it because the preview, number 15, said Roosters. The 15th best thing to do in Harriman is Roosters.
I'm impressed that they came up with how many did you say? 10?
15.
Oh, 15. God damn, Harriman's more happening than I knew.
Now this is probably obvious, but Roosters, they are not talking about the animal, but I had to double take when I saw the title of the article and the preview, number 15, Roosters.
See, I'm sure that Roosters is the name of a famous chicken restaurant or something. But when you said it's not about the animal, I assumed I assumed it was like euphemism for cock. So maybe it was the gay bar in Harriman. You think there's a gay bar in Harriman?
That it could be because it is a bar. But who knows? You could also go see the Tattered Peacock.
The Tattered Peacock.
Yes. By the way, among the top 15 best things to do is to go see a soccer field and to see a cemetery. And the visitor center is the number 5 best thing to do in Harriman.
Tremendous.
By the way, number 1 is Annie's Thrifts and Sales. So
I bet they got some good shit in the thrift store.
Shout out to Annie's Thrift and Sales.
Shout out to Annie's Thrift and Sales.
And keep in mind, they're not paying us a penny for that plug.
Mm.
Just
being good citizens.
Yes. We had a legit second-for-second replay of Chip Kessler's special report from last week where Primetime Brian Lee and Chris Candido won the tag titles. Now, I'll admit, I just fast-forwarded the 7 minutes or whatever it lasted. And I remember last week they said we'd have an extended view of it. Did you watch this, and did they air anything more than they aired last week?
I watched until the Candido and Morton match was showing, and it looked like it started in the exact same place.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. By the way, I did look it up, and I mean, technically he said earlier in the night, but when I heard that when he talked about it, I thought the Morton Candido match was the opener. Morton Candido was the semi-main, and it went right into the tag title match.
I feel like they should have mentioned that.
Yeah. Unless they did like some kind of intermission or whatever. But yeah. So from here, the Rock and Roll Express are out. By the way, that tag team title reign that they spent weeks getting off the Heavenly Bodies only lasted 3 weeks. But
That's not even the Rock and Roll Express's shortest Smoky Mountain Tag title reign.
I think it's the shortest acknowledged title reign because those title changes in Michigan, they never mentioned them.
Well, I acknowledge them.
Yes, we acknowledge them because we're fantastic reporters, which is why one of us gets a Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame ballot.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hey, I don't know. A, I don't know why I get it, and B, I don't know why you don't. Is it? Do you ever email Dave? Does he even have your email address?
Yes. I've
Okay.
emailed him results and stuff before.
All right. I don't know. Maybe it's because I pester him a lot more frequently than you do via email.
I suppose.
Anywho, let's go to that Rock and Roll Express promo now, shall we?
All right, fans, you got to look at it right there. Rock and Roll Express, our former tag team champions, now the new tag team. I know you don't look on them as the champions, though, Rick.
That's right, Bob. No, everybody's seeing what they've done to the Rock and Roll Express, how they won the titles. You see, guys, Robert come out there to wrestling by himself. But you see, I came on down and people make mistakes in their lives, and I made one that night. But this time, brother, don't you forget that Rock and Roll, we're coming back after those titles because they've blown us and all those people out there. So you remember, boys, it's just right around the corner when we're going to get those belts back. But what I'm out here screaming about is next week, right here on TV, I got Chris Candido in a singles match. And you see, Chris, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know how it feels to be dropped on your head, brother, because I don't care what they say. I don't care how many fines I got to pay. I want to prove to you, Chris Candido, that you're just a little bit shorter than you think you are. All right.
All right, fans, Rock and Roll Express, and they're really ready to rock and roll. All right.
Robert with one of his best promos of all time. One eye on the camera, one eye on Ricky. But a nice fired up promo. Like I said, sadly, we don't have enough teams in Smoky Mountain, like at least in the tag team title picture. Like I know that they're feuding with Lee and Candido, but like they're going to keep feuding with Lee and Candido until August. Spoiler alert. There's no reason why we couldn't have had a 1 month break and throw the Thrill Seekers in there just to mix it up a little bit. You know?
Yeah,
at least then it would feel like something different is happening because I think that's part of why, the attendance is down. And one of the reasons why they did, these title changes that they've been doing lately is to try to to try to pop some of the towns. And I think the issue is that it's still too repetitive. It's still the Rock and Roll Express in every tag title feud.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing with you that it's not repetitive, but I think the idea is you gotta establish the Thrill Seeker. So you have them work with Well Dunn first, and then spoiler at what the fuck is it called? The show in August,
Night of
Legends. They're gonna wrestle the Heavenly Bodies, and then I would assume that after the Bodies program was when they were gonna work with Candido and Lee, but then Jericho broke his arm. So
plus, I don't think Lee lasts much longer. Actually, no, he's here till like November. So maybe not. So yeah, and hey, Ricky did not tell us if Rock and Roll was here to stay or here to play. So I'm confused as to what their intentions are here in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Oh, he ain't playing right now. He is very serious. He's gonna whip Chris Candido's ass.
Yeah. Trae, do you remember what you were doing 1 year ago, roughly today?
No, not offhand.
Well, 1 year ago, roughly today, was when a sweet young little lady from the north fluttered onto our screen. to inform us that she'd filed a sexual discrimination lawsuit against Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And a year later, she's somehow still here. Let's go to personality profile with Primetime Brian Lee, Chris Candido, and Tammy Fitch.
On today's personality profile, we have the new Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions, Brian Lee and Chris Candido, accompanied by Miss Tammy Fitch. And Chris, you finally got what you want. It's quite controversial. It was kind of like beating a man with one arm tied. In this case, one partner tied behind his back.
No, Ricky Morton came out here. I heard him before complaining about the way they lost these titles. The fact was Ricky Morton was too scared to even get in the ring. He ran out the back door. Robert Gibson tried to run out the back door, except he's so dumb he ran out through the wrong curtain, and he came into the ring, and what happened? He met up with the Suicide Blonde and Primetime Brian Lee. And then Ricky Morton is out here talking about a pile driver, about me almost breaking his neck. Ricky Morton, the only reason I pile drove you was out of self-defense. You were trying to headbutt me in the groin, and I stopped it, and I pile drove you and almost broke your neck. And everybody's talking about a $1,000 fine. We don't care about a $1,000 fine. All we care about are these Smoky Mountain Tag Team titles.
And I'm sure you're happy.
Let me tell you something. They fined us $1,000, but you know what? I spend more than $1,000 in a day at the mall. Can't you tell by the way I'm dressed? And now I have these beautiful gold belts to make me look even prettier. And Chris, I haven't thanked you yet, but I just want to say thank you for winning those belts for me.
Hey, what about me? Why are you thanking him? I did all the damage.
Oh, Brian, will you shut up? That's your job. You're supposed to do that, okay?
Yeah, shut up.
Oh, Chris, you shut up too, because you should have needed his help. And Rock and Roll Express, let me tell you something, and you listen good. We have the belts now, and Ricky Morton, you made the worst mistake of your life by kissing me, because all it got you was you losing the belts, and you almost got your neck broken. So if you ever think of coming near me again or trying to win these belts, you can just forget about it, because they're ours. They're here to stay whether you like it or not.
That's it. We're all done.
And there you have it, the wisdom of Miss Tammy Fitch. That's been our personality profile for today.
I know I keep mentioning this, but I love this trio of Brian Lee, Chris Candido, and Tammy Fitch, where it's so obvious that A, Brian Lee could kick Chris Candido's ass, with both hands tied behind his back, and that B, he should be realizing that Tammy is using him, but C, he is so pussy whipped that he doesn't care.
I guess that's the deal. They're still teasing dissension that never goes anywhere.
And who knows if it was ever supposed to? Because I mean, it's May. SummerSlam is right around the corner, and actually gets reported this week in the Observer that Brian Lee has been told to not cut his hair, and to study tapes of the Undertaker, because they were looking to do a zombie Undertaker gimmick.
As opposed to the regular Undertaker gimmick?
Apparently, yes.
Do you remember when Mordecai was supposed to be like the anti-Undertaker?
Yes. It didn't work out very well.
No.
Poor Mordecai. Poor Kevin Thorne. He's a follower of vampirism.
I've heard that.
Yeah. By the way, is Candido still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion and the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion? If so, he's back to being a triple champion.
Yeah, and he has a belt now. He has another belt now. He has 3 belts now. Where are his belts?
Well, 3 belts Candido is, I guess he left his other 2 cummerbunds at home.
I guess.
By the way, speaking of things, we talked about the Macho Man Randy Savage promo being a replay of last week's. Speaking of things that are a repeat of things we've already heard, hotel accommodations for Smoky Mountain Wrestling are provided this week by the West Town Inn of Knoxville. If you're looking for a nice, clean, and economical room in the Knoxville area, try the West Town Inn. All rooms have a cable TV and a private balcony. Also, a large pool in the center courtyard. The West Town Inn, the Smoky Mountain Wrestlers' haven. And I wrote, plus this is an old ad. I imagine they did not ask Bob to reread the copy, and they just plugged in the prior one for the West Town Inn.
And if you happen to be in Knoxville now and you go to that address, you're going to get some tasty chicken fingers because that's now a Raising Cane's.
I mean, hopefully it's clean, so I mean it'd be tasty and clean.
I didn't mean to imply that it wouldn't be clean. I've never had unclean Raising Cane's.
But have you ever been to the one in Knoxville?
I have not, because last time I went through Knoxville, there was a Bojangles. I'm not gonna look. I love Raising Cane's, but I can't go to Bojangles all the time. Okay, they do have Bojangles in Texas now, but they're like the streamlined menu ones where they only have like 2 things.
Okay. All right. So this show is 45 minutes long, and 28 minutes into the show, Jake Roberts and Dirty White Boy came out for their heavyweight title match, and I'm sitting like, okay, we have another main event with the Heavenly Bodies or not the Heavenly Bodies, Jesus Christ, with Well Dunn and the Rock and Roll Express. So, hey, we have time for 2 matches here. And then they announced that the poor Rock and Roll Express and Well Dunn had been canceled. And it's important to note, not postponed, because they've already announced that Ricky Morton's going to wrestle Chris Candido next week. So, Well Done is getting unbooked.
That's just so disrespectful to Messrs. Well and Dunn. They are right to be pissed. They are getting mistreated.
Yes. I loved when White Boy was claiming that Jake was pulling his hair in the early going, and so Jake pantomimed what he did to Mark Curtis. And it's like, and it even showed that, like, by accident, doing that move, like, you may accidentally grab like the ends of his hair. So it's like, oh, see, I'm a good guy. I'm not yanking his hair. It's, it got caught up in my hand when I was throwing him down.
Yeah, honest mistake.
Yeah, super honest mistake. Then, so, we were this is where we were told that the Rock and Rolls and Well Done had been canceled. I wrote, what disrespect to Trae's favorite team. If that opening promo was a 5-star promo, this was a 1-star match. Jake, there's a reason he wears a vest in the WWF next year. I guess not even next year, a year and a half later. He's putting on some weight.
I like this match.
I mean, the match wasn't awful, just that this is not our quarterly 3-star Smoky Mountain match.
I went 3.
Okay. Well, to look, one of our reporters, okay. This is not our...
And I've had this argument before. Because it's like, and maybe I guess I'm in the minority. I think Jake's a more interesting worker as a heel. His style just lends itself to heel psychology, and it's something that I enjoy more than a lot of people, I think. I like the Sting Halloween Havoc match, okay?
I was actually going to bring that up. You mentioned before that you liked the Jake Sting match at Halloween Havoc. I think the problem with that match was more the stipulation than anything else, because there was like 12 gimmicks on the spin the wheel, make the deal, and Coal Miner's Glove was like one of the worst ones. I think like the only one that would have been worse was like there was a blindfold match as an option.
Yeah, they could have done better, but
I think part of it too, and this is to spoil my upcoming book, part of it was like the Coal Miner's Glove match is a Mid-South specialty, and Bill Watts is in charge at the time, and B, I think part of the issue was they hung the pole up too high, because Sting legitimately had to climb that pole. Like, it wasn't just, okay, stand on the top turnbuckle, reach up and grab it. No, it was get on the top turnbuckle and then shimmy up the pole in order to grab it. And it was like, it's a long way up.
Now, I do have an issue with this match, but it's not with the match, it's with the announcing.
Oh, God. Yep.
Less said that the DDT and the Buckstorp Blaster were the same move. And Bob agreed with him. And I was really fucking confused.
I think Bob knew Les was wrong, but like you can't like in Bob's mind, like you can't disagree with your partner. So it's like it was better to just say that it was than it was to disagree. Um,
Did did Les just like not watch the WWF? He probably did, honestly.
why would he? Why would that make it about no? Like, I mean, they didn't. I mean, they had the choke slam, but nobody ever called it the Bucks North Blaster in the WWF. Or you're talking about like the
Well,
DDT?
the
I
DDT,
mean,
because he should know Tony Anthony's shit, right? He knows him.
you would think so. Um, I was still shocked. It took him 4 weeks to figure out which one was Jericho and which one was Storm. Um,
He got there. He got
yeah,
there.
this was some bad commentary by Les, and Dutch would not have made the same mistake. And I know. But Kendo the Samurai snuck down and stole White Boy's eye patch. And so Tracy and Bobby Blaze ran down and pointed backstage. And Kendo, who, he has trouble with the English language. He's new to our country and our customs and our ways. He needed somebody to point him where he should be going. And Tracy and Bobby Blaze were nice enough to point to the backstage area.
Well, look, it's easy to get turned around because we just heard about Robert Gibson trying to run out the back door and run into the ring by mistake. It's anybody. It ain't happened to anybody.
Yeah. And so the story is without the eye patch, the TV lights are so bright that it's irritating White Boy's eye, and he's having trouble, he's having trouble getting accustomed to it, which I think is a nice story, even though it's like, and this isn't Jim Cornette's fault, but we've seen the missed angle for years and years and years at this point. And so like he's the first guy, it seems like that's ever really making a big deal about the mist. Um, but White Boy, I wrote White Boy's never done a DDT, and I bet Jake has never done a Bucksnort Blaster. We go outside the ring, and I knew something was up. I didn't know the finish, but I knew something was up when they called attention to the stationary cameraman taking pictures. I'm like, you don't call attention to something like that unless there's a reason. And sure enough, Jake attacked the cameraman, stole his camera, and took a picture of the White Boy, which was a nice thing of him to do. Maybe White Boy's going to get his picture in PWI this month because Jake took that picture of him. Unfortunately, Jake had forgotten about White Boy's eye injury, and the flash went right into White Boy's eye. And that sucks. Jake trying to be a nice, good Christian athlete here, and he may have inadvertently injured his good friend Tony Anthony.
I enjoyed the psychology of those bright ass lights that indie companies still use when the building doesn't have proper lighting fixture. That was hurting Dirty White Boy's eyes because I fucking hate those lights, and I know you have to have them for TV, but I'm fat, so I like to get seats on the end of the aisle, and the number of shows that I've been to that I was looking at that fucking lighting rig.
Yep. Remember the first Evolve show I went to was WrestleMania weekend 2013, and I was sitting right there with the fucking light stand pointing right at me for 2.5 hours.
The first Evolve show that I went to was WrestleMania weekend 2014 in New Orleans, and it was at an auditorium on Tulane University campus. And it was cool because like up on the stage they had the ring and like 2 or 3 rows of ringside seats, and then I was just in the fucking stands of the theater. That was sweet.
Nice. That sounds like a cool setup.
Yeah.
Anyway, back in the ring, Jake dropped White Boy with a DDT for the win. The king is dead. Long live the new king. We have a new Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion.
And then Les was not with the program this week. Les says it'll be a rubber match in Knoxville. Did Dirty White Boy win a match over Jake that we don't know about?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
Maybe when they're both in Mid-South together, in a few months, maybe White Boy pins Jake.
Oh, there
Eh,
you go.
eh,
Maybe that's it.
It's a long-term three-match series.
Long-term booking.
Yes. Well, let's go to Bullet Bob Armstrong. He's going to cut a quick promo to end the show, and he's basically going to reiterate that the match is still on for Friday.
All right, fans, moving right now, Commissioner Bob Armstrong. That was a tremendous, I think, injustice in the ring.
Exactly.
What just occurred?
Let me tell you this. We may have a new champion now, but we're going to take a look at this film. But anyway, no matter what, Friday night at the Volunteer Slam, the Dirty White Boy's got an automatic shot to get that title back because he's got him in a title shot, one-on-one. And the Macho Man will be there, and I'll be in his corner. And all I hear from Jimmy Cornette and the Bruisers, why don't I step down from commissioner? Well, how can I step down with things going on like this, with Jake the Snake just hitting down and pulling those kind of tricks? I'm going to be watching him like a hawk. But you'll have your chance at the Volunteer Slam, Cornette, because I'm going to be outside the Macho Man's corner. So bust your move, brother. And if I get my hands on you, if you ain't wearing a toupee, you'll need one when I get through with you. We'll see you Friday night. Dirty White Boy, don't count him out yet.
Volunteer Slam Friday night, fans. That's
Okay. So I like this whole presentation from from the promo earlier, but especially this match. I did not think this match set the world on fire. I didn't like it nearly as much as you did, but I think I like the story it told. I like that it set up, a new champion and a strong heel at that. Because especially since White Boy turned, we have not had a strong heel.
And I'm sure that Jake is going to be a wonderful long-term champion.
I mean, we didn't know on May 14th that Jake was going to no-show a weekend of shows coming up. But
I mean, we should have. I don't know.
To be fair, it is 1994 Jake. It is more likely that he would no-show than actually show up.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I got to tell you something, Trae. I know you're probably happier that this didn't happen, but I was fully expecting the whole show that as Cottle is wrapping things up, Well Dunn would run in and be like, "Where's our match? What's going on?" And Cottle's like, "Well, we're out of time. We're sorry. You got canceled." "What do you mean we're canceled?"
Oh, that would have been great.
Sadly, it did not happen. I guess we're now actually pushing Well Done. Like before, they were just goofs winning random squash matches, and now we're giving them a little bit of a push. So I guess you can't treat them like comedy geeks, but it would have been tremendous.
Are we pushing Well Done now?
I mean, I think we're giving them a little bit of a push. We didn't just have the Thrill Seekers run over them. They're now in a story with the Thrill Seekers, and they're going to have a match on Friday.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yep. Also, it's important to note that OJ is getting really angry at Nicole for keeping for not getting back together with him right now.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
And yep. And I hear OJ and Nicole's daughter has a dance recital coming up in about 3 weeks.
Is that the? I didn't know that part of the story.
Yes, they went to a dance recital, and then Nicole and the rest of the family went to a restaurant where Ron Goldman was their waiter, and OJ seized and went to McDonald's, and I there's if you've never seen it, and I know again you're not a huge fake sports fan, there's an excellent 5-part documentary that was released through ESPN called OJ Made in America. And it actually basically tells you why OJ got off.
Okay, I have a question for you because I experienced this, and a lot of people of our generation experienced this, and younger people are just appalled that this happened. Did you listen to the OJ verdict in school?
No.
Because
and the reason why is because it happened while we were at recess. I remember my teacher coming out and saying what the verdict was.
Okay. Okay. So there's no bullshit. This really was like the biggest. Yeah, I was in third grade and we listened to listen to it live on the radio.
Yeah. I was this was the fall of '95, so fifth grade.
Yeah.
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 Do you remember?
OJ was really big, y'all.
Yeah. I don't want to insinuate that Vince McMahon would do something unsavory, but do you remember? I think it was the night before the verdict on Raw. Vince ran a hotline poll on Raw. Do you think OJ is guilty or not guilty?
That's fucking genius.
And it'd be shocked to hear this. He got a little bit of heat for that.
Vince McMahon did something in poor taste. I can't imagine.
I'm as shocked as you are. Um, by the way, 120 down, 80 to go. We are officially
Yeah.
60% of the way through Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But of course, once we get done, we got to go back and redo the first 35 or 40 episodes before you came on.
Yeah.
I'm just like picturing like the the huge differences between going from even Smoky Mountain now to going back and rewatching Smoky Mountain episode one. Like, the,
Yeah, I bet it's a lot.
yes. All right. So what else is happening in the world of wrestling this week? Um, Now remember last week we noted that Barry Windham had no showed some house shows over the weekend and was replaced by Paul Orndorff. Well, it
Yeah.
turns out he didn't really no show them. He had neglected to give WCW his medical clearance because he was out injured for so long, and so that's
Oh.
why he ended up being pulled from those shows. The other news story is that Rick Rude will probably not be wrestling at Slamboree, but I mean we've already talked about that. We already know what's going on. However, Terry Funk was informed to be prepared to wrestle twice because if they still can't get Wyndham his clearance in, it'd be Funk versus Flair instead.
What kind of Looney Tune would push Terry Funk in the main event of WCW in the early 90s?
If it helps, it wasn't the main event; it was a mid card match, even though it was the
I
world
was
title match.
I was joking about
You're
my pro wrestling sim save.
okay. To be fair, you're still at early '90s. You're in like '92 still.
I am like less than a year and a half from this point in 1994.
Well, let us know what you're doing in May of 1994. You may not
I
be
will.
pushing Terry Funk as a top guy in May of '94.
I'm going to just to spite you now.
Okay. You're welcome, Terry Funk. You're about to get a run with the belt. Um, so you remember the story in Mick Foley's first book where he got told that him and Kevin Sullivan were going to be pushed all the way as a tag team, and then he was at a Disney taping and overheard pretty wonderful bragging about beating Cactus and Kevin Sullivan for the tag titles they hadn't won yet.
But yeah.
That promo was taped this week. Which,
Oh.
which also made me realize that this is now a month after the Vader Cactus Jack Texas Death match on Worldwide that Shivani made some wacky comment during. That was the final nail in the coffin of Cactus in WCW, and that he put in his notice based on that
I
match.
I believe it was Heenan who like he had I think he said he had talked to Shivani about like putting over the significance. And then Shivani said something pithy or pithy. Well, I don't know how to pronounce that word. And Bobby said, that'll give you eccentric headache number 9.
That was when Vader gave him the less remembered power bomb on the concrete floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, remember last week where I kept calling Bruiser Bedlam Killer Kyle by accident?
Yeah.
Well, to make my life really screwy, Bruiser Bedlam missed all the house shows this weekend against Tracy Smothers due to transportation problems and was replaced by Killer Kyle.
Tremendous.
Yes. I'm like, great.
Kinda,
Of all the
What kind of
Go
travel
ahead.
problems was Bruiser Bedlam having? I wonder.
Especially the ones keeping him out for 3 days. Like, Jake, spoiler alert, Jake loses the Smoky Mountain title when he misses 3 house shows. I don't think Bruiser Bedlam had the TV title stripped from him.
Well, that was a house show. In this territory, we actually only have TV title matches on TV.
Mid-South has shown that you want your TV title matches to be on, house shows only.
So dumb.
Oh my God. I remember when I saw like Brian and Vinny talking about how bad the TV title tournament was, and at least until the very end, like we were taking up for the tournament because it really wasn't that bad. But this run of the TV title in Mid South so far, it's fucking wrestle crap.
Yes, it is. I agree.
No, no, note to RD, you need to induct this first run of the Mid South TV title. Hopefully, it gets better. But yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
By the way, I know we didn't mention this, we didn't ask about it, but Bruiser Bedlam is here until December.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And he actually has a match on Smoky Mountain TV with Cactus Jack.
That sounds fun.
It does sound fun. It doesn't give how long the match is though. Hopefully they get about 6 minutes. I bet they'd have an excellent 6 minute match.
Yeah. There's a pretty neat Cactus Candido match somewhere in there too.
Is that the one that's on the wasn't it on the McFoley DVD?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm just looking at all of White Boy's matches all of a sudden, and he's gonna have a fun little fall, it looks like. And by fall I mean autumn, not. Wow. He is going to be in something on Smoky Mountain Television called, and I'm going to say this slowly so I can enunciate it better, a dock fight.
Dock fight.
Yes.
Sorry, who's going to be in a dock fight?
Bruiser Bedlam's going to be in a dock fight.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Because I assumed it was Bruiser Bedlam when I heard dock fight, even though I didn't hear you say Bruiser Bedlam.
I thought I did. Maybe I didn't, but
you probably did.
All right. Let's see. Maybe I need to go and reread this, but there was when I was reading the rundown of what was happening on NXT tonight, there was a preposterous opening segment. And maybe I need to reread this because maybe there was a lot of tongue-in-cheek sarcasm. But they're doing an NXT in Full Sail tonight. And the show began with Triple H coming out and getting into a fight with Shawn Michaels and William Regal coming out and screaming War Games.
What?
Let me go back here and reread this here. This is from F4WOnline.com, written by Chris Aiken, NXT Homecoming. Yada, yada, yada. The first talent seen in the video package is Triple H, who kicked off the show. Let's see here. Triple H said their passion for NXT shattered conventions, allowed NXT to take over, and screamed, "We are NXT." Shawn Michaels entered, is wearing a nice coat, apparently. Let's see here. Michaels tells Triple H, and we know he's been out there selling $1 million gates and has $1 billion deals. But the NXT roster is ready to knock it out of the park. Let's hear. Triple H then says, "What if I want to come back?" Michaels gets in Trips' face and says, "Then we would have a very, very big problem." Suddenly, the entrance of William Regal interrupts the standoff and screams War Games.
You explained it to me and I believe you and I still don't understand what the fuck happened. Like I know what happened. I don't understand it.
And that somehow led to Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley for the women's tag team titles.
How about that?
I thought Shayna Baszler was future endeavored.
She was.
Oh, well, she was on NXT tonight.
Oh, great.
Trick and Carmelo beat DIY. Apparently this is just let's bring back all the old NXT people for a show for some reason. Like was there like a Dynamite tonight or something we forgot about? I don't think it is.
No.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. Um, Oba Femi apparently is going to wrestle Trick for the TNA title at some point. Maybe tonight.
Huh?
I don't know. Um,
Why don't they just have a unification match for the NXT Championship?
I don't know. Then Mike Santana could win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was because I'm reading the rest of this, and so far there's been nothing else. Apparently the main event was Fatal Influence versus Rhea, Stephanie, and Lyra in a 6-woman tag. Because I guess what's her name, Tiffy, got injured or something.
How about that?
Yes, how about that? Cash her outside. How about that?
How about that?
Okay. So by the way, where the hell's Glove been the last few weeks? Like he went from being TV champion, being pushed down our throats, to just disappearing.
Glove died on the way back to his home planet.
Pop.
Do you remember
Okay.
when the Dudley Boys versus the Undertaker main evented a fucking pay-per-view?
The Concrete Crypt Match.
Okay.
The Great American Bash 2004, which one of the all-time worst shows that for some reason doesn't really get remembered as an all-time worst show.
Probably because Eddie did his best.
I mean, it wasn't as good as the Judgment Day match, but yeah,
No,
it was
wasn't. Not when Eddie did like a fucking 12 on the Muda scale.
Yes.
But okay, I remember that like they fucking aired like a run through on the satellite feed, and it was
Yep.
like posted online before the pay-per-view.
Yes. And that was like the feed that they used live because, like, shockingly, they did not really kill Paul Bearer. They swapped him out with a Paul Bearer dummy.
Yeah.
And just shot all those takes of Paul Bearer sitting there and being worried. Yada yada
Yeah,
yada.
okay, the clip that I saw was not that because it was like Undertaker was in like just his street clothes and they were doing like a run through.
Well, yeah, like it was, but like his part wasn't going to be used on the show.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, because that wasn't like Luther Reigns, I think, versus Charlie Haas, Mordecai versus Hardcore Holly. I think that was they did a Miss Jackie Tori Wilson match.
No,
was that
it was Mordecai against Hardcore Holly. It was Charlie Haas against I think Luther Reigns. Oh, I'm sorry, I misheard.
Yeah, but that wasn't the Miss Jackie Dawn Marie match that had Charlie Haas as the referee because Charlie Haas was married to Miss Jackie but sleeping with Dawn Marie behind her back or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely. I don't think I was getting SmackDown at the time. I didn't get SmackDown, and I don't think anybody was bringing it to me at the time.
Okay, here are the matches for the Great American Bash 2004. Spike Dudley pinned Jamie Noble in what I'm pretty sure was the Heat match. And I bet it was like at worst the third best match on the show. Um, U.S. champion John Cena beat Rene Dupree, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam in a quote unquote elimination match. Luther Reigns pinned Charlie Haas. Cruiserweight champion Rey Mysterio pinned Chavo Guerrero. Uh, Kenzo Suzuki pinned Billy Gunn. Sable pinned Tori Wilson. Mordecai pinned Bob Holly. JBL beat Eddie Guerrero in a quote-unquote bull rope match to win the WWE title. And in the main event, The Undertaker beat Bubba and Devon Dudley in a quote-unquote handicap match when he pinned Devon.
The JBL Eddie match is good. The Ray Chavo match is not bad. The rest of the show is, I had that on DVD for some reason. I think it was because I was just happy to get any shows I could on DVD, and it was at Walmart.
Yep. The next year, Great American Bash 2005 is one of the things that, like, the show probably doesn't sound bad when I tell you the matches, but, like, just, you might have to take my word for it that this was a bad show. Road Warrior Animal and Heidenreich defeated Eminem to win the WWE Tag Team titles. Booker T pinned Christian, which doesn't sound like a big deal, except at the time, everyone was dying for Christian to finally get a main event push, and he'd been switched over to SmackDown in the draft. And everyone figured this was a foregone conclusion Christian would win, and then Booker won. And I think this was the last time. I think this was the last time Christian was even on WWE pay-per-view, except on Taboo Tuesday when, after his contract expired, he showed up to be one of the 5 people voted on.
Yes, and he did a DVD exclusive interview.
Yes.
Because I had that DVD too.
Orlando Jordan beat Chris Benoit.
Oh, I remember that. That was a fucking like 18-minute match. Look, Benoit, we know Benoit was great. Benoit's strength was not carrying people who weren't good.
And I mean, yeah, because they look like what were like the worst matches of Benoit's career. Billy Gunn and Orlando Jordan. There's a reason why they had to have like a dozen matches with Benoit and Orlando where Benoit would win in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And those were the best matches of that feud.
Yes, they were. Did Orlando Jordan ever have a good match?
I don't think so. I remember he had a shockingly not worst match of all time match with Rob Terry.
I remember that feud. Oh my God. I don't remember the match, but I remember him coming out and fucking squirting lotion on himself.
Yes. The Undertaker pinned Muhammad Hassan. Yes, that was this show.
Yeah.
And then after he murdered the terrorist, that was immediately followed by the Mexicools defeating the Blue World Order.
Yes. Love that. Oh, I love that so much.
Rey Mysterio pinned Eddie Guerrero. Melina beat Tori Wilson in a quote-unquote bra and panties match with Candice Michelle as the referee. And then in the main event, in what sounds like it could have been a fun Haas match, but once again was not, JBL defeated world champion Batista in 19 minutes and 47 seconds by disqualification. The longest match on the show by 4 minutes.
The Mexicools came out on their Juan Deeres, and then the BWO came out on blue big wheels. This was phenomenal. Yes. Just 5 stars for entrances alone.
Yes. I gotta say, WWE really, the Great American Bash was like, it was the ultimate WCW tribute show. Because, like, for whatever reason, every year it was just like one incident after another. Like 2006 was when half the people on the show got suspended for elevated enzymes. And so you ended up with The Undertaker versus The Big Show in a 22-minute Punjabi prison match. Ashley defeating Crystal Marshall, Jillian Hall, and Michelle McCool in a fatal 4-way bra and panties match. And I remember that because it wasn't an elimination match. It was like whoever the first person stripped out of their bra and panties was, the person that took off whatever the remaining item of clothing was one.
I appreciate you several months ago when I think I had just been and had some blood work done, and I posted that my liver enzymes were fine and I would not have to miss the Great American Bash 2006. I was grateful that you were the person that appreciated that joke.
Yes. It caught me. There's also the show like because again, half the fucking roster seemed to get suspended, and they needed to fill time, and so King Booker took what felt like 20 minutes to walk to the ring. And it wasn't 20; it was a good 5, but still, like it's not that big of an arena. It's the Indianapolis Conseco Fieldhouse. You could walk to the ring in 30 seconds, but Booker was like, "Hey, we're running short. Let's get some minutes in here."
Oh yeah, that was when to set up King Booker pinning Rey Mysterio in a title match on the pay-per-view on the Friday before the Sunday, they had Booker T pin Rey Mysterio in a non-title match.
I don't remember that part. I just remember the build to Judgment Day with Ray versus JBL, which was Ray losing on consecutive weeks to the Great Khali, Mark Henry, and then they did that great May 19th Kane moment, and Kane beat both his and JBL's ass as the final build to the pay-per-view.
This
Great American Bash 2008, JBL pinned John Cena in a parking lot brawl match. Wasn't that when JBL tried running him over with a car or something?
probably. By the way,
And I forget if
I went to the theater to see that movie, See No Evil, but not only
I was like, what movie are you talking about?
because you got to remember that I lived in like a really small town in the middle of nowhere. So my friend and I had to. This was the same friend that I was talking about playing SmackDown versus Raw with the other day. We drove an hour to the one theater that was playing that fucking movie.
Wow. How did you feel your time was worth it?
I mean, it was uh, it was a fun thing to do with friends.
Yeah. Hey, as long as y'all had fun,
It's not a
that's
good
all that
movie.
counts. It wasn't, but I mean, it's funny because like that's one of the few WWE movies that actually made a little bit of money. Um,
Yeah.
and boy, do you think it had more to do with it being the first movie, with the fact that they really drummed the release date into your head, or was it like, okay, it's kind of a goofy horror movie with our goofy horror heel in it, that led to it made like I think it made like $10 million in theaters. So,
Well, I helped.
yep, I bought the DVD if that helps.
There you go. I
So,
never watched it again, and I never watched the sequel.
I forgot there was a sequel to you just mentioned it. By the way, 2008 Great American Bash was also Mark Henry pinning Tommy Dreamer, and that's when Colin Delaney turned on Tommy Dreamer. And then I think the next week on ECW was when Dreamer beat Delaney, and then we never saw Delaney ever again.
Oh, for Colin Blaney.
Yep. World Champion CM Punk no contest at Batista. I think that's the match where Batista beat on Punk for like 10 out of the 11 minutes, and then Kane came out and laid them both out. And then
Yeah.
the main event was Power Trips beating Edge, and that was after Edge and Vicky were supposed to get married, or actually they did get married. Then it turned out Edge was sleeping with Alicia Fox, and so
Alicia
Vicky turned
Fox.
the beautiful Alicia Fox. Good old Noam Dar. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was the quote unquote babyface turn for Vicky Guerrero. That because everyone realized how bad of an idea that was, she just kept being a heel who just hated Edge.
That made more sense, actually.
Yeah. And then in 2009, it was no longer great and it was no longer American. It was just The Bash.
Was that was that like the year they did Triple H and Edge?
Nope. That was Triple H and Randy Orton in a 3 Stages of Hell match.
Oh, you're
And
right.
according to ProWrestlingHistory.com, and I have no reason to disagree with this, but I thought it was much quicker than this. The first fall was Triple H getting intentionally disqualified by hitting Orton in the head with a chair. And the second fall was him immediately pinning Orton with a pedigree in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And I could swear that happened in the first 2 minutes of the match. But apparently the first fall went 5 minutes, and then the second fall went like 75 seconds. So it was like 6.5 minutes into the match when the first two falls happened.
Okay, what show am I thinking of that was like a June or July pay-per-view and it was right after Triple H had been directed to SmackDown and he defended the title against Edge?
The one I just talked about, where Vicky Guerrero was a babyface and Edge had been sleeping with the beautiful Alicia Fox.
Okay, there you go.
Um, and that was also like, and this also tells you the difference between 2009 and 2025, because I doubt this would be a big deal today. But this was when The Miz had spent months building up to this match with John Cena, and then
Yeah.
John Cena basically squashed him.
I couldn't have laid that match out more perfectly.
I just remember like the promo that when Cena finally confronted Miz, he's like, I got good news and bad news for you, Miz. The good news is the Miz is going to be in a main event of the pay-per-view. The bad news is the Miz is going to be in the main event of a pay-per-view against me. And then he beat Miz in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also on this card, and come on, they could not have put this match on a pay-per-view thinking that it would not be a worst match of the year contender. Dolph Ziggler, in a no disqualification match, defeated the Great Khali in a match that
Uh,
almost went as long as the John Cena Miz match.
I know I saw that show. I have no memory of that match.
Neither did I. This was also the Mysterio Jericho mask versus title match when
That was good.
Jericho ripped off Ray's mask, but he had a second mask underneath it. And then
Yeah.
that somehow led, I forget why, but Vince was being a dick towards Teddy Long in front of the camera for a change. And it somehow led to Teddy Long putting Jericho and Edge in a tag team title match against the Colons and DiBiase and Rhodes. And then they just weren't in the match until the finish where they won. And then Edge tore whatever muscle he tore.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, that was they had two pay-per-view matches at Jericho and Ray that year, I think, and they were
it
both really
three.
good. Three,
Three.
okay.
Yeah.
I remember the
And
no
it was,
DQ one and the mask versus or the mask versus title one.
yeah. Yeah, well, the no DQ one had a great finish. Jericho talked about in his book where Mysterio goes for the 619, and as he's swinging around the ropes, Jericho reaches up and just rips his mask right off.
Wasn't that the one where Vince made him show him that he could do it first?
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
sounded like it's impossible to fucking do that, and then he did it.
It was a fucking great finish.
Um, I don't know how the hell we ended up me talking about the history of the WWE Great American Bash, but here we are.
I don't know either. Hey, we filled some time.
Yeah,
Created some
Jeff
content.
Hart. Jeff Harvey beat world champion CM Punk by DQ. That was when the finish was like Jeff Hardy. I'm afraid if he raked the eyes or he did something to Punk where Punk's eye was a little screwy. And so Punk, quote unquote, accidentally kicked the referee. Because this was after he cashed in Money in the Bank, but before he was full-fledged heel Punk. Like it was like, okay, he's turning heel. We know he's turning heel, but he's still walking the line right now.
Yeah, I remember that.
A-
People were really mad about him cashing in on Jeff Hardy.
Honestly, like I thought the promo the week after on SmackDown, it was brilliant and it made total sense. CM Punk had cashed in 2008 to the everyone's delight. And then
Yeah.
in 2009, he cashes in and everyone is mad. And Jeff Hardy is mad about it. And CM Punk's like, hey, nowhere on the contract did it say, under no circumstances, do not cash in against Jeff Hardy. And,
That
it was
was
when it was the Jeff Hardy Edge ladder
yeah.
match, a stipulation that Jeff Hardy chose. So he put himself in that situation. And then Punk just reaped the rewards.
Yeah, the one with Edge, that was like one of my biggest markout moments in Raw history was when Batista fucking murdered Edge, and as he was leaving, Punk's music played.
I'm gonna say this just like JR would. Punk wins! Punk wins! Punk wins! What
Uh,
made like that first one especially memorable was like when Punk won Money in the Bank, everyone just assumed he would be the first guy to cash in and lose. Like it was so obvious he was not going to win the title. And honestly, like I think even at the time when he ran in and gave Edge the go to sleep, it was right near the ropes. And it's like you kind of half expected Edge to fall through the ropes and like run away.
nah.
And it's like it really
Alas.
wasn't until he not only got the belt, but he got to quote unquote defend it for a couple months. And then came the worst title loss perhaps in wrestling history. I was
Was
like,
that the one where Undertaker just fucking squashed him?
oh no, that was a different one. This was
Oh.
when when Randy Orton gave the kick head
Oh,
before the
yes.
championship scramble match, and then he didn't even
Yes.
get to defend the title. And he wasn't even stripped of that. That was the thing too. It's like it wasn't like, oh, he was stripped of the title because he couldn't wrestle. It was, well, if CM Punk can wrestle, great. If he can't, too bad. And to me, and I get, you don't want to make things too complicated for fans, but to me, I'd point out that as a championship scramble match, if nobody gets a pin, then technically, even if Punk is in the match, Punk would still retain the title. But that part never really got mentioned.
And that at least that gave us that great Jericho run.
Yes. And it also gave us another great Batista face. Where he won, he had the match won because oh my God, Kane was such a fuck. Sometimes Kane is like the monster person that nobody can beat, and sometimes he's the jobber of jobbers. Batista gave him one spine buster and pinned him with like a minute to go. And then the Batista standing in the ring, I think he gave Rey Mysterio a power bomb, and with time running out, Jericho rolled in and covered Kane. And Kane, who needed 3 tombstones at WrestleMania 14 to be beaten, got pinned twice with one spine buster.
Yeah, yeah. You're the cage match where it they did a fucking like I think Batista bladed because he really wanted to, and then Vince fined Batista, Jericho, and Dean Malenko, who was the agent, and Batista was like fine and just fucking paid all of them.
I think he also fined Kyoto.
Yeah, I was
I
thinking
mean,
it was a referee too, but I couldn't remember who.
yeah. Either way, Batista still paid all of them, which
It was
it's
bullshit.
yeah. Like what? Like okay, it's not Jericho's fault, but like I could see why you might say, okay, it might have been Jericho's fault because like he's in the match, they have talked about it or whatever. What the fuck did Dean Malenko have to do with it? What the fuck did Mike Chioda do? Was Mike Chioda gonna jump in there and like yank Batista's arm away when Batista went to Blade?
Who the fuck knows? What was the famous one where Bret bladed and then convinced Vince that it was a hard way?
WrestleMania 8 because he
Okay, thought
bladed
so.
because he went into the steps and he did like an L-shaped cut, so it looked like well he hit the corner of the steps, and then Flair in the match against Savage is openly
Yeah.
blading on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, as I pointed out, he got screamed at, and then Flair never did it again. And you know, just saying, maybe WCW could have had a little bit of a backbone against people doing whatever the hell they wanted.
Well, that would require
By the,
you have a backbone.
I love that the Smoky Mountain show. We talked about it for like 58 minutes, and now we're at 95 minutes, and we're still going.
Well,
Uh,
that one YouTube commenter will be glad that we talked about the show first.
yes, you know, thumbs up, YouTube commenter.
Yeah.
By the way, I did hear back from my editor. I didn't read the message yet. What the hell? Let's close the show the way we opened it by talking about my book. Let's see what he said. Um, I I probably need to apologize for this one. I thought I was going crazy. My search history now includes a variety of searches for Poonsault.
That's phenomenal.
So,
That's phenomenal.
sorry, Michael. By the way, he's proof that not everybody who slides into your Twitter DMs is a creep. Because literally, he's my editor because he slid in my Twitter DMs
Well,
and I
there you
actually
go.
answered. Yeah. Um, all right. So that's gonna do it for this week's show. Yeah. So I'm in the final push for this book to get it on the shelves by October 1st. I should get it done. I pretty much just have to wait for him to finish and then format it, and we'll be good to go. Um,
There you go.
but yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Trae, anything you want to say to the fine listener before we go?
So I went to the Mongolian Grill today, and I have leftovers that I'm about to go heat up, so I'm really excited about that.
The Mongolian Grill.
The Mongolian Grill. My wife and I have always called it that because she used to like to listen to Brian and Vinny with me.
Okay. I just I don't know, like today this episode feels like you're just saying a lot of things wrong on purpose.
For
All right.
look, for all intensive purposes, I'm doing my best.
So I'm gonna get going. Apparently there was a New Japan show a few days ago with a Rambo that I never watched, so I gotta go watch that.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Well, until later, thank you all for listening. Talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.